When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. You're ready to move your business forward, but first, you need to find the right team. Start your search with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It can help you reach qualified candidates fast, ensuring your listing is the first one they see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. See the results for yourself. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Dr. Emma and me on the Tudors Dynasty and Beyond podcast. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome back to the show. I am your host, Rebecca Larson, and it's Thursday, so you know what that means. It's time for Dr. Emma and me. Welcome.
I love Thursdays, you know me. How are you, Rebecca?
Oh, I'm good. You know, we got to start off by talking about how much snow Minnesota got in the last 24 hours.
Don't tell me about it because I have to go back in a week and I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I love the snow. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
After it snows, it's one of the most magical looking places I've ever been in my life. But it was very cold in New Haven yesterday. I'm still in Yale. Different location. I'll explain it in a little bit. But going back to how cold it was yesterday in New Haven, I got a taste of Minnesota winter and it bit me in the butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready. And one of the most important things people need to know about cold weather is you need to be prepared.
Yes. And you know what? I just keep thinking that the Minnesota you left is not going to look the same as the Minnesota you return to.
Well, and that's a part that I like. I always complain about the coldness because it gets too intense. Even some cold is nice. I like it. I welcome it. But the intensity, the length, but the beauty of Minnesota winters, there's sometimes you could just go out and you feel like you're the only human in the world and it's just a white wonderland. And Minnesota has a lot of trees, a lot of it looks like Christmas, right?
Yeah, I think at the end of our last episode, I shared a picture of the snowy landscape here outside my window. I'm not going to do that this week because I don't even want to look at it.
Another cool thing about Minnesota winter and the intense coldness is the lakes and when they freeze, right?
Yes.
And how they look. One of the things that is the most striking to me is that they freeze in a way that it makes patterns and it ends up looking like there's, I don't know, motorways in the frozen water and the sounds of the lake when it's frozen. It's a bit scary because a lot of Minnesotans are very confident walking in the and the snow is okay, but in a lake, a frozen lake, you have to be, I would say it fits because it's, you have to have good equilibrium. You can fall, so you better be careful. You can break a leg.
Yeah.
And it just feels uneasy for someone who's not used to that because you said, we were fishing there 6 months ago. What? No, I'm not walking there.
See,
but if you take the courage to do it, I did it and I liked it. How about you? Do you like walking on the lakes?
Well, I was raised next to water, so it was like I was born walking on ice. So I knew all of the precautions that you needed to take from very, very early on. As a kid, I used to love to go ice skating, and we would go out on this lake by my house to go ice skating, and we'd have to clear the snow off of it first. And we always knew that the first time you went out there, you needed to go out there with a stick with 2 milk jugs on the end, just in case. So our parents, this is back in the later 80s.
Like training for martial arts.
I know. Our parents were like, go.
Yeah. Equilibrium is one of the key points. Not being scared of falling because you can fall and you will fall and it hits hard on your butt or whatever it hits. But also I love people. I think people think that when it snows and it's so cold in Minnesota, people are just bound home. And it's true. You tend to stay home. But then some days it snows and you are forced to go outside and shovel that snow. And it's a free forced workout.
It is. But you know what? I'm sure people are already tired about hearing us talk about weather and snow. So let's talk about your new location that you're in today.
Ooh, well, I want to apologize and not, because I'm still in Yale. 1 week to go. I can't even thank the people in New Haven and in the Yale Center for British Art. Everybody's so welcoming. And I don't know if I told people to notice, I was in an apartment and it's been great, but my neighbor today is taking the bar exam at Yale Law School. So she's taking the bar in the apartment. So everything needs to be very quiet. She left a beautiful note to me. We talked about it on the elevator a few days ago, because she's heard me talk and she knows I'm loud. And I said to her, well, I don't think that's what she thought. She just needs concentration, right? And I agreed. And I said, hey, girl, I got you. You're impressive, taking the bar in Yale. What can I do for you? So I came to the residence lounge to do this today. And there's a lot of echo, sorry, because I am very loud. So if it sounds a little bit different to what I usually sound, it's just because I'm at a different location, but still in Yale.
Yeah. And it sounds like occasionally there might be people coming and going. So if we hear background noise, we know why.
Yep. It's the residence lounge. So it's open to everyone. But I'm just going to stare at them. I'm going to stare them down. So they walk in. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'll talk over them. You know me.
Well, I'm excited to have you today, as I'm always excited that when we get to do these chats. And today we're doing just a regular Dr. Emma and me episode. We're not doing a Parallel Lives. We're not doing a historical Tinder. I really wanted to do something that I knew you would be super comfortable doing today. And something that I know our listeners will want to hear. Today, we're doing a 3-generation, 3 women, 3 queens. And I'm very excited to talk about these women. So I'm going to let you say who our topic is today.
Oh, well, I can't stop thinking about these 3 women. I have for years. First and foremost, though, there's one in the center that is my obsession. So you guys know who we're going to talk about. It's Katherine.
Anne Boleyn.
You know what? Oh, but she's becoming an obsession, to be honest. You're right. Rebecca knows me. Anne Boleyn is becoming an obsession just because I am interested in anything Katherine of Aragon. I'm going to call her Katherine of Spain today.
Okay.
And this is a point about maybe we need to start shifting the idea that she's Katherine of Aragon because she was born in Castile. And her mother was the queen of Castile. Her father was the king of Aragon. But together, Isabel, another woman that we're going to talk about, and Fernando became the first king and queen of Spain. Yeah. So in reality, Catherine was considered a Spanish infanta. Infanta is a name for a princess in Spain and the Iberian Peninsula, because they also use it in Portugal. It's a very Iberian thing, if you know what I mean. So I want to make a point today about that. I think it's the perfect time to do it. And I'm glad you brought up this topic and we're going to talk about this, because, it's like their grandmother, mother, and little daughter, because the other woman is Mary I of England. And it's a time to think about our loved ones and to gather together, the holidays, whether you're celebrating, I don't know, Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever you are, it's the winter solstice, whatever it is a time where people tend to come together. We've had Thanksgiving in America, things like that. So I think it's a good time to talk about, we tend to separate these women too much, but they were part of one big family. And we're going to call it the Spanish family because they are, that's from that perspective I study them. Yeah,
I love this. I love this episode because I'm fascinated by all 3 women. I don't think we've ever done an episode with all 3 women being the sole focus.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's your favorite? Right on the spot.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'd have to say Katherine.
Girl, I was convinced you of everything because I remember that the times where Katherine of Aragon, Katherine of Spain, wasn't even your favorite sixth wife.
I know. I've come a long way. And you just made me sound like I'm really pliable. Like I'm like Henry VIII. You could just tell me anything and I'll go along with it.
I mean, I'm very persuasive because I talk a lot and repeat a lot the same things. Yeah. So I think you've heard Katherine enough now, Katherine of Aragon, that I can say Katherine of Spain, you know what I'm saying. But I want to play devil's advocate here Isabel I of Castile is one of the coolest people I've ever studied in my life. And really, really my first crush for these women was with Isabel because she was more famous in Spain and because she's an iconic ruler and because she is a groundbreaking monarch, Rebecca.
No, you didn't. Stop it.
Congratulations on a great article, by the way. I love it.
You're not allowed to use the term.
I giggled and giggled and raged with you.
If you don't know what she's talking about, I have a Substack, and every Monday I release a free article, and this Monday I released one about how the term groundbreaking is way overused, and we need to stop. So if you haven't read it yet,
but in this case, it was used correctly. Sorry.
That's right. Anyway, that aside, let's talk about these three women because when we look at them, they all lived in different times, but there are a lot of similarities between them. I know we're not doing parallel lives, but it's hard not to look at similarities between these three. When we look at their childhoods, how different were their childhoods?
Radically. And this is why I'm going to go back to saying that Isabel of Castile was a groundbreaking ruler because she was a woman in power before the, I don't know, is that Elizabeth I of England, before all of those girls, after Eleanor of Aquitaine, but Eleanor of Aquitaine's time was different and her role was different. Isabel was a ruler in her own right because she fought for it. But she was born from nothing. She was born from nothing in royalty. Okay? She was, and that's why she was so hungry. She was so hungry for power. And she became this survivor in her childhood of the intrigues of the court that were basically going to either end up dead or married to someone for interest and being used by that man. So Isabel was like, nah, I've seen that enough times. I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
And she forged an alliance. Well, she was lucky, like anyone in life that finds their way to certain things. She was very smart, but she was very brave and bold. And that for a woman wasn't what was expected at the time.
Yeah.
So she created a lot of turmoil. In that sense, her daughter, Catherine of Spain, is radically different in her childhood because she has a very pleasant childhood, being the youngest daughter of Isabel, being taught by women humanists like Isabel, like Beatriz Galindo, La Latina. La Latina is also a neighborhood in Madrid. Did you know that, Rebecca?
No, I did not.
A whole neighborhood that is very fun, dedicated to this woman who knew Latin, that taught Catherine and her sisters Latin. She was brought to court by Isabel la Católica, known in Spain, Isabel I of Castile, to teach her daughters, because she didn't want the dudes. I mean, she wanted the dudes around them, but she was like, when they're sewing, it's better a woman to be talking to them in Latin. And this was a young woman who was very educated because her father educated her, because he was a humanist. So when it's like with Susanna Hornboot and her father, Gerard Hornboot, the artists, right, that we talked about before. When a dad gives tools to his daughters, education, basically, or a trade, he's empowering their minds, even though society might be different. He's given them tools to confront that. We all face, men and women and everything in between, you know what I mean? So in that sense, Isabel did that for her daughters. And Catherine was the youngest, sorry to say, the cutest, the one that looked the most like Isabel. So Isabel really, really, I think Katherine of Aragon was her favorite daughter.
Oh, wow. Those might be fighting words. If we were living in the 16th century, that might be fighting words with her siblings.
Bring it on. I don't think Juana was her favorite because she had words and more than words with Juana.
That's right.
We don't know much about Maria, but she was sorry, Rebecca, middle child, a bit obscure sometimes.
Are you pointing out that I'm a middle child?
Well, I never said that. You just pointed it out yourself. I'm a firstborn daughter. So I took the grunt of a lot of things in my family because, firstborn and a daughter, It's like things are expected of you. So the eldest, Isabel Junior, named after her. No pressure, but I'm going to name you
I
after
love
me.
that. I love that. And you know what? In the middle children, there's nothing expected of us and we're invisible.
No. There's no, because I think that develops a very, very attractive personality in some people, and a very thirst for exploration and cool
Attention.
things. So
Attention.
everybody's different, but I think it is right. You're right about the role you play in your family growing up shapes you.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say, Emma's met my family, so she knows.
Yes, I know. They're all amazing. I mean, I'm not going to say names because they're private people that might not want, but I mean, yeah, I have never met anyone related to you that I didn't say this is a really nice person, which is really what it's about. When you bring a friend to your family, you want your friend to feel comfortable, your family to feel comfortable. I can behave well sometimes too. I'm like, oh, my friend is taking me to, I better behave and be a little bit quiet, but sometimes I can't, you know what I mean?
Okay, so Catherine was her mother's favorite. Let's
Yes.
let's move to Mary, because here we are now, and it's when you look at these three generations, you see how each one transformed and improved, right? Because of Catherine's childhood with her mother, she learned so many things, and then she has her own daughter who she can raise, and look what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And in Catherine's of Spain's case, I want to talk a little bit about her father, Fernando, because he also plays an ambiguous role that often hurts Catherine, but also makes her realize he's like loving, but he's also cunning and thinking more of himself than. But then he doesn't, because I think he loves his daughters, but he says very ambiguous things to Catherine over letters. You send this girl to England and she's alone and she's young, and you keep saying things that are contradict each other, right? And so she's like all confused. At a certain point, she decides, she's like, okay, I'm going to take charge of my own destiny, and becomes the first female diplomat, groundbreaking. Again, sorry to say.
I think you're doing it on purpose now.
What?
You're triggering
me. You have to read this article, so that's why I hyperfixate. When I like something, I'm going to like repeat it.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out that groundbreaking can be used well. So being the first female diplomat in the Western world, because you speak Latin, is amazing. That's thanks to your mother. But you only become the first female diplomat in the world if your dad allows it. And the king in power accepts it. And both Henry VII, Hansi Henry, and cunning Fernando, accepted. Hansi Henry, we know why, right?
Yeah, we do.
Like, oh, come close, yes. Talk to me in Latin. Sure, girl.
Yeah.
Come here. Yeah. And Fernando was like, I think you're ready. I think you're the smartest in the family. Go ahead. You were born for this. You weren't born to rule as a ruler in your own rights. You were born to influence people. And you use your power and your intelligence and your beauty to get what you want.
And she did.
Catherine was like, okay. And she went and did it.
She's like, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. No, she didn't like beer.
Oh, hold my wine.
Yes. Hold my wine. Hold my wine. Or she could say, after years and years, I drink wine and I know things, which is a reference to one of my favorite shows. One of my favorite characters of all time in a show too. So you have to have a supportive dad and mom. But again, I want to say Fernando and Isabel were probably the most ruthless monarchs and parents at the same time. High expectations. I almost said a bad word, but I didn't.
Thank you.
Mary, you wanted to talk about Mary. In Mary's case, very similar, because we said Catherine is the same as Isabel in many ways. Catherine had very high standards as a mother. She taught Mary many things, like Spanish, because she wanted her to be married to the next king of Spain, because she wanted to have a male heir. And I'm sorry to say, I think that her favorite child was the prince that died, Prince Henry. because that was what she was born to do. She thought her destiny, her calling by God. But she loved Mary because more than anything, because that's what life gives you. She took what life gave her. I think in Mary's case, she's not as fortunate as Catherine because she has a highly educated childhood and all that, but a very conflictive household with a tyrant as a dad.
Yeah.
Who looks at every other girl around, and one time she's called Anne and he gets too involved. And we know what that leads and what happens.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, their childhoods were clearly very different, but similar in ways because of their character. You know, they each pass down character traits to one another. And in the end, you know, Mary was
similar and different. You're right.
Yeah. Yes. She's the first queen regnant of England. I mean, that was that was something that Catherine couldn't obtain, but her daughter could. And I think it's absolutely amazing that she did.
But Catherine didn't want Mary to rule. Catherine wanted to do things the way they were meant to be. But a very important thing with Catherine and the people in the Spanish monarchy is I think they truly believed in something religious called providence. That God gives you what God wants, and you have no say in that. So they accepted whatever came. And that's why I think women end up having influence and ruling, because royal blood, lineage was above gender. In Henry VIII's case, that is not the case. I'm sorry. He wants to have a boy himself, and it has to be him. And he doesn't care the woman because he doesn't have a lineage, really, because the Tudors are not really a lineage.
No, they're new.
Until Hansi Henry gets his hands on Elizabeth of York's throne, because she was a rightful heiress to the throne.
Yes.
And he was like, no, never mind you. I'm going to kill the king, and then I'm going to marry you, in a true medieval type of taking of power, right? In the Spanish monarchy, it's becoming very different very quickly. Because in southern Spain, southern Europe, it's very influenced by other traditions. Women could own land, women could inherit. That changes the mindset. In the northern places, it was more a different type of law. You know, when you married a man, you became part of his household. In Castile was radically different in that sense. We've talked about Maria de Salinas and her legal fight for her daughter to inherit. So that's where I think they're different.
I feel like you're just trying to get me to talk about Henry Cavill again.
Oh, who's that?
I'm sorry.
What's he up to?
I'm
he
sorry.
called you last night or what?
I'm sorry. I just spent like half of my night last night scrolling through Reels videos of him with his shirt off.
Oh my God, Rebecca, do you want to share this with everyone? Are you sure?
It's too late. I already
told
did.
me he was going to be private and you weren't going to tell anyone. There you blab it in the podcast. I love you. You're so great.
I'm a woman, okay? Like, I'm sorry.
I'm a woman too. I get it. And I think a lot of men get it too. Even heterosexual men get it. It's just he's a beautiful person. We all agree.
Yeah, and he's kind of a nerd, just like we are. So what's not to love?
Makes him more attractive.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, come over. Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't know, met him ever, but he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he does.
And that I think is the most important, with the gorgeousness and all the other things. But you know what I mean, right? When someone doesn't, even though he's one of the most famous people in the world and most desired, he still manages to come across as a pretty normal bloke, you know?
I know, exactly.
That's why we like him. And that's why we think he's great.
I'm sorry I got on the Henry Cavill wagon again. You just, you know.
You know me, I'm not going to shy away from talking about him.
She's like, let's go. Let's change the topic.
He's my favorite Tudor character ever.
Yeah. Oh, he is. You know, okay, I'm going to sidetrack just a bit because we give so many nicknames on this show. You keep talking about Hansi Henry, which is Henry VII. That's the newest nickname. But I saw on social media yesterday, and I'm sorry, I always forget who posts these things, but somebody posted about fun guy and then said she couldn't remember what his real name was.
I love fun guy. Sir Henry Guilford.
Yes,
Very
yes.
similar to Henry VIII, the Tool, that's the nickname. And Rebecca usually comes up with the nicknames and the very smart people that listen to us. And this is one of the things why I like America. The nicknames, the marketing, like kind of ideas, the very quick, like funny, short messages and nicknames like that, right?
Yeah.
It's just very funny. And Fun Guy, for example, who's another guy that we often talk about, wasn't portrayed in the Tudors
No.
very much, and he was the one in charge of the party. So I would have been friends with Henry Guilford. We do have, however, one of the most gorgeous Holbein pictures of Sir Henry Guilford. We have preparatory sketches for that picture. So he was definitely the guy tune in with the artists, the party people, the wine sellers, the ale sellers, the exotic pomegranate bringers, and overall, let's have a good party that everyone will remember for centuries.
That's right. And so Catherine would have known him, and would Mary have known him, do you think?
Yes, as a child, of course. I want to say something else about Catherine of Spain.
Okay.
We tend to portray her, or she's been portrayed for centuries as a prude. I don't think she was a prude. She had very interesting friendships, artists, fun guys, very sexy kind of confessors from Spain. I don't know. I think Catherine wasn't as much as a prude as people think. She just knew her place and held back a lot. So, I mean, she was good friends with Sir Henry Guilford. For sure, they brought Holbein together to England.
Yeah.
She was good friends with the painters of the court of Isabel la Católica. And I want to mention here my good friend Oscar Rojeski, who works in Spain, he's a professor, assistant professor. Sorry, Oscar, if I don't get this extremely right. Has just done a conference about Michel Setau, the portrait painter of Isabel that painted Catherine in that beautiful picture that we love in Vienna.
Yes.
She's gazing down, she's full of bling. But that same person, I mean, this has been linked to Catherine of Aragon because that same person appears in many of the portraits of Michel Setau. So, and even in one of the portraits that Michel Setau painted for a very big work for Isabel la Católica, where her face and the faces of people of her court are present. It's called the Tríptico de Isabel la Católica in Spanish, or the Triptych of Isabel la Católica, and that's not together now, it's in all pieces. But one of them is in Washington, D.C., in the National Gallery of Art, and it's called The Ascension of the Virgin because it's portraying that, right? We all know that part of we all know religion and the stories about that.
Yeah.
But it's Catherine. So either Isabel wanted Catherine to be the model, but I don't think so, because then Mitchell goes on to paint Catherine in standalone portraits as the Virgin, as Mary Magdalene, as this picture gazing down and those things. And Catherine mentions him once in London after seeing pictures of Margaret of Austria, saying he would do a much better job. So I think these two had a thing going on. It was just lost in time or in translation. But certainly she thought he was amazing at what he did. And he certainly liked painting her a lot. So I think, but you can't, she's a infanta.
Yeah.
And he's a painter. They can't really probably go any further, or maybe they did. Who knows?
Oh, gosh, here we go. Well, you know what you made me think of when you were talking about that is how once Catherine comes to England, I don't feel like we see any religious paintings like that of her or even her daughter. Like, are there scenes? Is there a painting that I don't know about of some religious scenes where either Catherine or her daughter Mary are depicted?
Yes. Do you want to know where?
Of course.
I think that Catherine knew where to find people with lots of talent. And Susanna Horenboot was brought into England, praised by no other than Dürer, that wanted to meet her and went to Antwerp to meet her and said, it's incredible, bought a piece that she had done. She was only 18. This is extraordinary for an artist. Alejandro talked about this when he came, that, artists usually have to mature into their art. But Dürer is saying that Susanna at 18 is painting incredible works of art in miniatures. There's a very interesting book of hours that, a prayer book that was illuminated allegedly by either Susanna or Gerard Hornboot that belonged to Thomas Wolsey.
Oh.
And I think that was a gift from Catherine to Wolsey, because I have found what could be pictures of Catherine and Mary in those disguised, like in what we were talking about in this workbook for Isabel I Católica, as people in these. It happens in other manuscripts. It's not the only one. It's just a thing. These artists that can do really good jobs painting really little faces in illuminations. Let's say artists like Gerard and Susanna diversify, and they're illuminators, but they're also involved in design. They create designs for jewels. They work with Holbein. And because they're so good, they can actually, instead of just doing random faces, they can do the faces of the patrons. I think it was a way to try to entice Wolsey to say, hey, you're a great patron of the arts. I'm a great patron of the arts. Look at this amazing artist, Susanna, very cute woman too. They can do this for me and my daughter. Stop antagonizing us. Let's bring back the family together. You are a smart man because you're born, you were somebody's, what is he? The son of a butcher or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but a very smart, cunning man like Fernando of Aragon. So Don't be silly. Don't be silly. Don't wake up the Spanish fury, or you will be sorry. And what happened to Wolsey?
He died.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
He died. He didn't die a good death. That's what I mean.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for Wolsey. Like all he tried to do was help the king, and in the end, he
should have been smarter. The king needed to be told very nicely, because he was a narcissist to a degree, what he needed to do, and persuade him to think it was his idea. Oh, you're so smart. You want to be Hercules? Of course, you are my Hercules. What you need to do is, just. If you like that girl now, okay, but I'm the queen. I'm sure Catherine said that many times and called him Hercules and called him whatever she needed to do. If Wolsey would have paired with her and been like, Your Majesty, I know she's very pretty, I know she's very attractive, but you have to think of England's future. Have you seen the Spanish? They have a long lineage of successful dynasty. Why don't you do the same, and just accept your reality that God, because he was a prelate, a man of the church, is giving you. And Henry, if he would have been more flexible, and if he would have been a tyrant and a bad husband, maybe Catherine would have had a son, because she would have been more relaxed about it.
Oh, that was fiery right there.
He was a bad king, Henry VIII.
Yeah. Well.
And he didn't listen to anyone other than himself. That's not a good king. Isabel la Católica was a ruthless monarch, but she knew her place with her husband, not because a woman needs to know her place with a man, because at the time you had to behave a certain way, or Fernando would have been like, woman, shut up, like Henry said to Catherine or Anne. And Fernando at the same time had to give up some of his power as a man and give power to his wife. And that's why Isabel and Fernando are a very successful power couple. And that's why Mary tries to do that with Philip of Spain. And they do try.
I was just going to say there's similarities and differences when we look at these three women in their marriages. Like you said, Isabel and Ferdinand each ruled their own countries, but they were, but they were still a team. And then you have Catherine and Henry. Henry was clearly the monarch. She was just his consort, but she found ways to influence him. And then we come to Mary and Philip. And by the time she comes to the throne, she's like, okay, well, I know history enough to know, and I know English folk enough to know that I need to take the lead on this. But there also needs to be a man, too, maybe, is kind of the thought.
The thing is, you said, but Henry's the monarch and she's a consort. Yeah, but a king is nothing without a family and without sons and daughters. So the king has to also give the queen her place. And I think what Fernando did very well is he wasn't marrying somebody's the daughter of a duchess or whatever, or a duke or whatever. He was marrying the heiress to the Castilian throne, a bigger kingdom than his, a richer kingdom than his. But he was a very, very ambitious monarch, and he was expanding in the Mediterranean. And together they decided, we're going to have troubles. Fernando had lots of affairs, but we know we have a common goal, and we're going to help each other get the ambition we want, which is to spread basically the Catholic faith, which is really at the core, ruling their subjects, but also spreading the Catholic. Because in the Spanish monarchy, you can't separate the Catholic Church from the ruling monarchs, at least until, very late. That's very different in England, because Henry's like, meh, I'm done with that.
I find it interesting, too, when we look at religion, because obviously Isabel was Catholic. Her daughter was Catholic, and for most of her marriage, really up until the point of the annulment, it was a Catholic country. And then we come to Mary, who comes back to wanting it to be a Catholic. So it's really rooted
come back.
Well,
it wasn't gone.
I mean, Edward tried to make it gone. His council tried to make it.
Elizabeth killed a lot of Catholics, tons and tons. She should be called Bloody Elizabeth sometimes. She killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
So no, it wasn't turned all the way. And certainly Ireland, that she also claimed the throne to, and Henry did, or lords as they call themselves, was Catholic and always remained Catholic. It's still one of the most Catholic countries in the world. So Henry had no. How many courtiers were hiding still that they were still Catholic? How dare you tell people what religion to follow?
Yeah,
I think that's the way I see it. Elizabeth was ruthless against the Catholics. And that's why she's a hated monarch in many places in Spain, because of that idea that she was evil with Catholics. The same way, and Mary is seen as Bloody Mary because of the burnings, which was something that was done in Southern Europe and other places, not justifying people getting burned, but not justifying killing thousands of Catholic people.
Right. Yeah, and Mary gets...
Oh my God, agitated. When we talk about war and killing people, I get nervous because I don't like it. Yeah. I like to focus on the art, the diplomacy, the good things.
Okay, let's stop talking about this then. What should we talk about next?
No, I think it's important to talk about it. Just if I get, when I get like this, it's because I think a lot of people are very quick to judge Mary. Mm-hmm. I love Bloody Marys, don't get me wrong.
I do too.
When you have a big hangover and you go for brunch, there's nothing best than a Bloody Mary. And we can make fun of it as what it is. Yes, she was bloody, but she wasn't the bloodiest Tudor. Not even close.
No, but it's because she's a woman. She's the first queen regnant, and so she gets all of the terrible nicknames and the reputation.
And she doesn't marry a Protestant and complies to what Edward and Henry had done.
Yeah.
The boy king, Edward, giving Edward power in like his mind is always, I've talked about this before. It's like, it blows my mind. But certainly this Henry's narcissistic decision to break from Rome, because it wasn't based on faith. It was based on his personal ambitions to marry another woman and have a kid. Henry VII, was super Catholic. So it's Henry who really is the what are you doing, dude? Mary is just trying to bring peace back. In my exhibition this year, I don't know if you remember, I had an exhibition this year.
Yes, you did.
I miss it. I want it back. Faces for Eternity. One of the portrait medals of Mary that she has some of the most beautiful. Why? Because when she marries Philip of Spain, some of the best artists come to England, the Renaissance artists from Italy, influenced by Italy, like, for example, Jacopo d'Arezzo, who sounds very Italian because he is. And then Antonis More, who is not Italian, but definitely studies Italian art and does that. So in one of the medals in the exhibition by Jacopo d'Arezzo, Mary is depicted as peacemaker because she's bringing back the Catholic faith. You have to think that Europe was still largely Catholic.
Yeah.
So I think we need to shift the perspective on what we've been told over and over by books written by historians that have come from a cultural tradition linked to the Protestant faith, which is a totally fine faith to have, but it just shapes the way people view this. If from the Catholic world, which I was raised in Spain, seen from the other side, I'm not saying either of them are right. I'm saying let's talk about both and let's put both in perspective of the numbers. I think Henry VIII and Elizabeth, because they had longer reigns and were didn't have this lineage, were more ruthless and killed more people than Mary did.
Yeah. In her recent talk with me, Dr. Estelle Perronc made a comment that I felt like I sat back for a second and thought, yeah, that could be part of it too. And she had mentioned that Henry wanted to become the head of the Church of England because he was so power hungry. Like that was his primary focus was, he kept trying to claim France for himself and he couldn't get as far as he wanted there, but he could do this thing and he could become the head of the Church of England and be all powerful in his own country.
Yes, I think I agree to some extent with Estelle. However, I think it's more due to, I think Fernando of Aragon was just as power hungry and wanted everything. He was just smart about how getting it. I don't think Henry was very smart. He just wanted what other people had. So when Emperor Maximilian, the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, dies, this is Charles V's grandfather, father of what do we call Philip of Habsburg? Crybaby, because he was crying in the boat. Yes.
Yeah.
Juana the First of Castile's husband. That's how we're gonna call him from now on. When this big monarch dies, is an elective crown, different to England and Spain. Henry has this stupid idea that he could actually make it to be Holy Roman Emperor because he's married to Catherine and he's in his prime, let's say, right? He's in his good-looking era, right? And powerful young man era, tall, handsome, and all these things. And who wins the crown? The little guy born in the toilet, Charles V. Why? Because he was a grandson of Maximilian. These things are elective, but it's not just you come and you guy from Wales. Where's the Tudors? I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I think you can be Holy Roman Emperor. I think he was delusional because he was excitable and he was power hungry because he was a narcissist. So I think there's a lot of things with Henry. I think he was very easily manipulated to think things. When Charles V is elected Holy Roman Emperor, Henry has a fit, throws a fit.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised as a narcissist. I'm sure he came up with many of reasons of why people were out to get him.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of narcissists nowadays. I guess it's just something that repeats over history. Yes. When this happens, what does Catherine do? The prude woman who's been taught for centuries she was a prude, she throws a party, a huge party, probably helped by Sir Henry Guildford. I don't know the accounts, but I know it was in Havering, in one of her own palaces, not in Hampton Court, not in, the problem with these palaces that Catherine owned, most of them have disappeared, right? Mm-hmm. But they were just as magnificent. And you know what she does?
Right.
She throws this big banquet to say, hey, Henry, you're still the coolest guy in England. You're my Hercules. Don't worry about that. But I am the aunt of the new emperor. So everybody come to my party in my castle, not Henry's castle, my castle, because we're going to celebrate that I am important again, because I get things the way I get things, which is by respecting my family and respecting my new family and being a connector, So Catherine did those type of things. So she didn't know how to throw a party. That's what I'm saying. She wasn't a prude. She wasn't a boring person. She was a perfect Renaissance courtier. Just she got things the way she could with her gender, her personality, and above all, her position, I think.
This is why I love talking with you about Katherine of Aragon, because we get to see...
What?
Sorry, Catherine of Spain. It's going to take a long time for me to adjust to say that.
I'll keep saying it.
But I feel like because... you talk about her in this different way, it shows us that she was so much more than just Henry VIII's first wife that he set aside. She was so much more. And if you have listened to Dr. Emma and me or any of the episodes before where Emma was on talking about Catherine of Aragon, I hope you feel the same way that I. Stop it.
Please don't throw me out of the podcast. I love doing the podcast.
You're out. You're fired.
I can behave.
But no, seriously, like you give an insight into Catherine that we didn't have before. She is now a well-rounded human being instead of just the wife of Henry or the mother of Mary. So thank you.
And I did that without even knowing or trying.
You knew what you were doing.
No. I think my power is I like people, and when I get to know people, I see that people are multifaceted. And some of the people I really like are dead, and that's okay. Right. Catherine of Spain happens to be dead, but she's a fascinating historical figure. I am interested in history. I am interested in women's history. That was one of the biggest things. But I've learned over the years that women's history is nothing without the men, and that people are not just one thing, right? And that a queen that is portrayed as a very boring queen, but is very famous, because Catherine is super famous for, without throwing many fits, giving a fight to Henry VIII, like loving him at the same time.
Yeah. How did she do
paving
that?
the way for the groundbreaking time of the reign of her daughter, the first woman to, can I say this, sit her ass on the English throne.
Yeah, you can say it because you did.
Are you going to cut it?
No, I'm not going to cut it.
She had a little ass because Mary was like thin. That's the way to describe her. But mighty ass because she was like, okay, we're going to, yeah. We've never crowned a woman before. Watch me.
Yeah.
Hold my beer, because Mary did drink.
Yeah.
And Mary liked a lot. She's also portrayed as a very boring person, but she loved to gamble.
Right.
She loved, when she saw Philip, she was like, okay, I can marry my cousin, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. And she loved to dress well. Like, I love that too, when we hear these things about their personalities and what they liked. Like, it does make them more human to us.
Yes. And I love the way Mary has the confidence to look at us in that picture in the Prado Museum painted by Anthony Small, where she is, it's not like her mother looking down, very pretty, very young, looking down, oh, I have all these jewels, but I'm so shy. Mary's looking at you like, yeah, this is my throne. What are you going to do about it? Is it Mary or is it Anthony Small again? Anthony Small's subjects are looking at you. Mm-hmm. So Anthony Small saw power a different way, I think, than Mitchell Sittow. There's a very interesting portrait in the Prado Museum labeled as Jane Dormer.
Yes.
Possibly. Yes. I don't think that's Jane Dormer at all.
Oh, who do you think it is?
I have an intuition based on lots of things that could actually be Mary's heiress that became the last Tudor ruler. Have you ever heard of her?
You're talking about, you think that's Elizabeth? Interesting. Yes, I'm picturing this portrait in my head because I know which one you're talking about.
I did that to you. And now you're gonna.
I know.
So I influence you.
So that's the one with the woman, but she's like got real sleeves, right? Like we wear today. It's like one long sleeve, isn't it?
I've never seen you wear that outfit ever in my life, Rebecca.
I do at night. I don't let anybody know.
You do at night? She has a wardrobe full of Tudor outfits that she wears at nighttime when she's looking at pictures, the videos of Henry Cavill.
Yeah, as one does, right?
Yes, and then she wears a hoodie to the podcast because she wants to keep it, low key.
Right.
She doesn't want people to know about her secret life.
I'm so casual, but at night I wear 16th century.
At least you don't need a wig because you have the perfect hair.
That's right. I got the red hair. And I got the blue eyes. I'm like half Tudor.
Half? No. or Trastámara, or like
Oh.
Catherine. Catherine was a redhead.
I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I mean, they come from Burgundy. They come from so I think what we always talk that what you have is your appearance is very in tune with the beauty standards of the 15th and 16th century, which is fair women. Ooh, yeah, they didn't wear those nice glasses or the headphones.
Right.
They would wear their hair long. Right. That's another thing that you don't see a lot of women nowadays, because it's difficult to take care of long hair, and not everybody has beautiful long hair like the color and things like you. But yes, that's why we say you look like, because in each era, the beauty standards are different. Right.
Yeah.
Even though I talk a lot about Catherine of Spain as a Spanish infanta, she didn't look anything like what a Spanish person we think we have in our minds now, which is a total construction, because I'm from Spain.
Yeah, look at you.
Look at me. But my dad is Irish, so there's lots of factors that come into this. But I think she certainly felt Spanish in a thing that Spanish was being born too. I don't think we need to take everything with a grain of salt, especially everything I say.
The Who's down in Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, from Walmart? Who knew? Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
All right, listen up, nacho chips. Quiet down, crispy potatoes. This is the moment Velveeta's been preparing you for, and you're not about to crack under pressure. Today's the day to go all in on the drip. Velveeta's Heat and Eat Queso is the MVP of any game day spread, so stick by them, and you'll be golden. Now get out there and make delicious history. No tailgate party is complete without Velveeta.
Stop it. This is why we have you on the show. You are our expert on so much Spanish stuff and women and art. Like, I enjoy our Thursday episodes immensely.
I just hope that one day you make my wish come true and you come to Spain. So I can show you the Prado Museum and La Latina, the neighborhood where we can toast to because it's a fun neighborhood. We can toast to Mary and Isabel and to Catherine. Or Marie, because I think Philip called her that, and I think a lot of people call her by the French name, Mary the First of England. I think Mary and Philip spoke in French to each other.
Ooh.
It's pretty sexy.
Yeah, it is.
I think that relationship between Mary and Philip, everybody's like, he thought she was old and ugly, and he was young. I think they got on fine. That's what the sources say. I think sometimes people think someone's old and not attractive, but then things click. I don't know.
Yeah.
At least that's what we'll have to ask other experts, because I'm not an expert in the sex life of Philip II of Spain and Mary Tudor.
Thank goodness. Those are details I probably do not want to know.
And they were trying to have children.
It's like anybody. It's like anybody you know. You don't want to know those details, right? Because then it gives you a visual.
Some people specialize in these things, you know. I don't, but some people do. It's a topic like any other. It's part of life.
Yes, it is.
Rebecca's all uncomfortable now. The Minnesota's coming out. Ooh,
I was just going to say I'm from Minnesota.
Shirtless Henry Cavill every other second. Yet I mention the word sex and people who are married, and you get all nervous.
I know.
Oh, you're getting nervous because they were relatives?
That's kind of, then I think about myself with like a first cousin or something, and then I'm like, that's gross.
Don't do that.
I know.
It's bad for genetics. That's why we've decided we're not going to do that anymore. So yeah, it's but you know, the standards of everything change. And another thing, science teaches us that certain things that can't happen. Yeah. And it's better to stay away from your cousins, Rebecca.
Please,
don't be a Hasbro, okay?
Please stay away from your cousins. Oh my gosh. Okay, so something else that I want to talk about, because we've kind of wound down on this episode here, is recently on social media, I asked people whether or not Dr. Emma and Me should be a standalone podcast or if it should remain as part of Tudors Dynasty and beyond. The feedback really was split. And basically what it comes down to is people just like us together and they don't care where we are. So we decided to stay put here, at least for now, right?
Yes. I wanted to do it, and then Rebecca said no. So
that was not how this went.
Honestly, I think that there's so much going on in both our lives, and we already collaborate so well on this, that putting extra pressure on something that works so well, it's not going to help this vibe that is so cool and that we both look up to have. And I'm still learning. So I just want to keep on doing this and having fun and making everyone have fun. One of the things I like the best is when they mention it is like being with friends.
Yes.
And that's when I mention things or make jokes, and now I mention the sex thing and all that. It's because sometimes you do speak about those things with friends. So expect a lot of more of that. But I still want to intertwine it with my interests, because otherwise I lose interest, because that's me.
Yeah.
So a lot of Catherine of Spain, a lot of Spanish monarchy art, a lot of portraits, faces, things that I love. A lot of, I don't think a lot of Yale, because my time in Yale is coming to an end.
Yes.
I'm really ready to go back home and have a nice, relaxing period to spend time with the family and the Christmas tree. I love Christmas, so I'm excited.
You're coming back to the beautiful Minnesota winter landscape.
But I hope we can spend some time together in Christmas, like physical, like in the same room.
Yeah. Are you driving to me? Because I hate driving in the snow.
Well, I can't blame. So yes, we can. I can come to you, or we can. We have options, right?
We'll figure it out.
Figure it out, but it'll be really nice.
Yeah. We were just talking about feedback from people, and I just have to say, one of the biggest compliments that you can pay Emma and I is that you look forward to the Thursday episodes. I can't tell you how many people have said, I so look forward to every Thursday, knowing that I get to sit down and listen to a couple of friends, basically. And that, to me, is the biggest compliment that you can give a podcaster ever.
Okay, I'm going to talk on my side, because she spoke for both of us, but I have a different set of priorities to Rebecca. I really like when people say we're funny. And I would like to know the things they find funny or the things they find shocking. Because one of the things I like to do is shock people with what I say, for them to remember the other things I'm saying. Because history or art history, if told a certain way, can get boring. I like to mix it up with life, with friendship, with other things. So, and I think for me, a channel that works very well to convey messages is humor. Yeah. So I'm not discarding becoming a stand-up comedian. That's why I said no to the spinoff, because you never know. So
you have to have free time to practice.
2026 is gonna bring.
Oh my God!
I'm also a really good singer and performer. I don't know. Maybe I'm ready for Hollywood.
Maybe you are. Well, I think you're ready.
But come with me. I'm not leaving you anywhere.
I was just gonna say, but don't abandon me, please.
No. I couldn't. With this potty mouth and this all over the placeness, no, girl.
Oh my gosh, Emma, thank you again for another fun episode of Dr. Emma and Me, where we talked about 3 generations, 3 women, 3 rulers. It was so much fun. Thank you.
It's always fun to hang out with you, Rebecca.
Until next week.
And everybody else. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
Dr. Emma and Me is a smart, spirited, and refreshingly candid podcast where history isn't just told, it's lived. Catch them every Thursday on the Tudors Dynasty and Beyond podcast. And if you love it, tell your friends. History's better when it's shared.